This is a tutorial for hole 17 in Classic C. I will be showing off how to play this hole, which is considered to be the hardest by many, in every single wind condition. So every wind, northeast, southwest, with every speed sitting Classic C. So from 20 miles per hour to 30 miles per hour. I won't be going over the different pins unless there is a specific strat difference. In some cases there are, but in many cases there aren't. So I will be using different pins and as I see fit. So yeah, we'll be going over the winds clockwise order, starting from north, then northeast, east, southeast, and so on. First 20 miles per hour, then going up to 30 miles per hour. I personally recommend that if you want to find out like how to play 24 north, for example, you watch the entire north segment because I'll be spreading over my advice or entire chorus of that, so I don't need to repeat myself constantly. But if you're like looking to find a specific wind, you can use the clockwise direction to figure out if you're in the correct place or not. But I'll probably put some timestamps later on. So yeah, without further ado, let's start. This is 20 north. Here there is a very easy strategy you can use. You can just use a 3-iron. You wanna aim a bit to the right of where the hole is, like as you can see here, just a bit to the right. And you don't want to make a full backspin shot with the back pin. You want to do an intermediate backspin. So like 50% backspin, halfway backspin.
That's it.
And as you can see, this can see really well. There are different pin types, of course. I'll show off some of them. So this is a front pin. Here, the exact same procedure. You want to aim a bit to the right, but in this case, you don't want a red line actually. So I'm just gonna restart that shot. You want to aim a bit to the right, and this time, oh gosh, I don't know why whenever I start doing this tutorial, I just play poorly. But yeah, you just with this pin, you just want to do max backspin. Otherwise, you roll too far. So you can see, aiming a bit to the right, the max backspin, lands it very well. If you do mild backspin, you'll like overshoot. It'll be fine, but it's better to do this. Also, this is geared for speedruns, so you want to avoid the replays. You want to be mindful of not making too good of a shot, because that is different.
Birdie.
Now I'll show the middle pin. I probably won't be going to every single pin for the other norths just this time. For the middle pin, you want to aim like again a bit to the right. This time you don't actually want to make like 3.9. You want to make a full backspin shot, but a full shot, not like this is a 3.99. It's gonna be fine, but you undershoot a little bit. It's preferable to just do a full shot. So middle pin, full shot, full backspin. For front pin, oh come on, a front pin, full shot, full backspin, and then the back pin, full shot, middle pin. This is a good shot, by the way. It seems that it may seem that the distance was very similar between the 3.9 and the 4. But there are two main motives why I encourage you to like go for full shots whenever possible. First is that making a full shot is just way easier than making a 3.9, even if I didn't make it seem like that. And second, this is a much easier putt because you're like in an upslope without needing to aim much. There is a big range of power support. So yeah, this is a much better putt and much faster putt too. So that is 20 north. From here on, I'll just use random setting. Now on to 22 north. Once you get to 22 north, the strat's pretty much the exact same. Aim a bit to the right, full shot, full backspin. This time though, as you can see, you can overshoot more. Or not. Like, if you're not careful, that can happen where you replay. You definitely don't want to see that. You need to be careful. If you don't want to replay, I'm not using random setting. I think it's better to just stick with one specific thing, so I can demonstrate these things more easily. So if you're very scared of replaying, you can just do a no aim shot like this. I personally wouldn't recommend this because the putt is much harder and it's much longer. You end up here to the right, and there is this weird slope. It's very hard to gauge, like exactly what you need to do. Like I thought the aim I was doing was appropriate, but apparently it wasn't. And even that wasn't enough. So there is a lot of theory in this particular slope that is hard to see. Like you'll need to learn it, so for that reason I just don't recommend doing a no aim shot. Just do aim a bit to the right. You can either over adjust or under adjust. You always run the risk of replaying in hole 17. Easier than it seems. But yeah, if you either over adjust or under adjust, you should be golden. Like 5.0 is right in the border of what you need to do.
Good birdie.
Middle pin, exact same situation. With middle pin, it's harder to replay in general. With back pin, this time you actually do want to make a full backspin shot. If you do mild backspin, it's not gonna go well for you. So yeah, you see full backspin. Very nice approach. This is very nice way. So that is 22 north. On to 24 north. 24 north is the exact same story. Aim a bit to the right. Full shot, full backspin. Full shots will keep on working for now. As the norths creep ever higher, full backspin will be less effective on a full shot. But for 24, it's more than effective. Backpin very easy, very nice. I think that is the middle pin or left pin. It's left pin. Again, you do the same. You may want to over aim a bit to the right if you find it easier. Do not do it like a shot like that. I did it by accident. My technique is not very good. You can get away with doing that, but once you start delving into the 3.9, the 3.8 territory, you'll see that it's not as consistent as just going for a flip. This putt seems very difficult. I know from the past that you just need to aim a bit to the left. And here just do the dots the game tells you to do. Like if the game told me to do 3 dots, I didn't take enough left. That is a dual putt, but I guess that this is showing that full shot, full backspin may overshoot a bit. I'll try again. I definitely aimed a bit too far right. As the winds creep ever higher, you should never do a adjust because it'll push you further to the left. But you'll need to be mindful that over aiming to the right will be worrisome, will be bad, because there is this big slope. This big slope will make the ball roll for, I guess, I don't know if I can show it off with a putt, but as you can see, the ball slightly rolls back, and that is with a putt. Imagine what will happen with, after the iron with 24 north. But that's about it for 24 north. Now on to 26. 26 is, in my opinion, where north starts to get very complicated. Come on. If you try to do a full shot, full backspin, 26, it'll work, but the putt may be harder than you would like. Here I am a bit to the right. There are many slopes that you need to learn.
On the green.
There I bounced on a slope that pushed me further than I may have wanted. So you need to aim further right than I did in this guy. Like this is a dual putt, but it is a hard putt. Definitely not recommended. So the lesson from this is if you're aiming north, you don't wanna over aim to the right. It's much more preferable to over aim to the left. It's hard to like pause. I guess I can do this, but you can see there are like two slopes in like the rough. Like the one that is shinier will bounce you to the right. So that's to be avoided.
That's it.
This putt is still not super easy, but it's much easier. Like generally putts that are on an upslope are much better than those that are on a side slope. Yeah. There we go.
Great birdie.
That's 26 north. I'm gonna show the middle pin. Or not the middle pin, the front pin. I believe that is the front pin. Or is it the back pin? That's the back pin. Back pin exact same shot as before, so you still the referee well. Come on. There we go. Pin 2. Oh, here is when getting the front pin starts getting trickier. That you can start doing something like that, like a 3.99. It'll work better, it'll give you a better approach, but again, it's not strictly necessary.
Nice on.
I don't recommend messing with that kind of shot unless it's strictly necessary. That was an easy putt. I'll try to show like with a 4.0 full backspin. Something like that. I think that's good. As you can see, there is like stark difference. 11 yards, what you want to do in like this position. Aim a bit to the right, not too much. And like 2.5, between 3 and 2.5 should work wonders. Something like that. There we go. There are many like tricky putts that you'll need to learn. Because if you mess up a strategy, like, I don't know, let's see, you try to do full backspin and accidentally do like mid backspin. You'll end up very far backwards. And these putts are tricky, but they're not a death sentence, not a long shot. So here is the exact same thing. You want to aim a bit to the right. Since you're on the fairway, you'll need to take that into account. So you'll need to shoot maybe a bit stronger than you may expect. Something like that. Oh, just burden. So yeah, I guess you can use that as training data. These spots are hard, but they're not impossible. You can aim a bit farther right. Right. Now to 28. And 28 is when I would say that going for the 3.9s, the 3.8s, it starts to become a more valuable asset. Because a full shot, full backspin, we really start to overshoot.
Nice on.
For the middle and front pins, like just doing a 3.8 works very well.
Great birdie.
For the back pin, I'll show you. You can still very much do a full shot. It's works very well still. Like, yeah, that was a good bounce. Sometimes you'll get a bad bounce, but that was a good bounce. You'll end up on the fairway. Here what you need to do is like aim a bit to the left, not too much, just a bit, and then do pretty much what the minimap shows you. There you go. It goes in.
Good birdie.
Doing like a 3.9 here also works, but again it's like what do you value more? More inconsistent first shot with an easier putt, or a more consistent first shot with a harder putt? It's up to you. Like a 3.9 gives you a much easier putt, but you can make a mistake on like shoulder risks very quickly. The risk of doing like a 3.9, if you get the back pin or the middle pin, not so much with the front pin. But like, I don't know, you aim like right about here. Oh, that's a good shot, but as you can see, there is like the ridge. If you're not careful, you can either hit the cliff or like not make it. That's like in the border of what you can do. And as you can see, there's not a lot of leniency. Like if you do that, then just the run is dead. That'll happen. So that's why I encourage people to do safer strats for the first shot. So like I guess if you're here, I already know what to do, to be honest. I'm not very often in this situation. That didn't work very well, but you can save it better. Now onto 30. 30 is pretty much the exact same. Aim a bit to the right. You can do 3.9s again. It'll work well. You have a bit more leniency, but not as much as you may like. And you get this spot, which is pretty easy. It's pretty easy.
Nice on.
Just a full shot or no bend, whatever your minimap tells you. I'm gonna show now what to do with left pin. And left pin is where it's not two. Left pin is where it starts to get trickier. I would recommend like being careful where you aim. You don't want to aim like more than here, because if you here and you undershoot a bit, you will still be safe. Like you'll not make a very good shot, but you won't go out of bounds, which is the main concern in my opinion. Especially if you're doing like Golf Pro, that's the main concern. You can make the driver chip, obviously not recommended, because it is a difficult driver chip. It won't always go in. I will show like you can still make a cool shot. But he obviously needs to be careful. I don't think he ends up in the rough, but he still end up in this position, which is a non-trivial pot. It's doable, but it's not very. Something like this. Like something like that should be good. Yeah. So again, that is north. 20 and 22 are very easy. 24 as well. But once you get to 26, you need to start looking into what playstyle do you prefer. If you're consistent with 3.9 shots, 3.95s, because you can make the trade-off of an easy first shot and hard putt, or a hard first shot and an easy putt. It's up to you what you want to do, but you need to distribute the difficulty somehow. Now onto northeast. Northeast, I'll remain with the front pin for now. The strategies are very similar for every pin, luckily. Like this is just a very easy shot. It is same quite a bit to the left, like right about here. And you do like middle backspin, maybe even less than middle backspin, you're gonna do like 30-40%. And you just got this very friendly shot, this very nice shot. Yeah. It's fast, easily lands you here. Some people I know that they like doing like bend shot. Maybe if you're doing classic C, I can see it, but if you're doing pro, I definitely do not recommend doing bends. You still need to like, if you want to do a full bend, you still need to aim like quite a bit right. And it's like just a non-trivial shot. It'll still land you pretty much the exact same place, so definitely not recommended. You can always do partial bends, but as I say, if you're learning the game, whenever you can, just avoid doing partial bends, partial shots. Work with full bends, full shots. It's just more consistent. It's easily the way to go. I'll show with back pin. Middle pin is the exact same shot as with left pin. Backspin is also pretty much the exact same shot. You want to try doing even less backspin. If you do like no backspin, it's also okay. That shot is very close to no backspin. I can do
That's
like a
it.
full no backspin. But yeah, no backspin works wonders. You can still do like middle backspin, like the exact same shot as for left pin, but for backspin, and it'll work great. Like no backspin whatsoever. Oh well, those definitely were some bounces. There is definitely some pseudo RNG
That's it.
on how the ball bounces exactly. That will give you a lot of variance. It's not so relevant with this win, but it will be more relevant later.
Great birdie.
Now on to 22. 22 for backspin, you want to do like the exact same shot. Except this time you do want to apply middle backspin. For sure. Those are not super nice bounces. You can aim further left and you
Nice
will be
on.
better off. This spot is doable, but non-trivial once again. It's not easy. Do something like that and it'll miss. So make sure to aim further to the left. Let's see, right about here. That may seem like a bit of an overcorrection, but it's not. It's really not. It lands very well. It's better to be
That's it.
I guess I can show this piece of knowledge. Like right around here, like this area, there's like a straight line that extends up to here. Or the entire green is just perfectly flat. So whenever you have those spots, it's easier to land on the left side of
Great
the
birdie.
green because it's like it just makes your putts easier. If you land in the right side, I guess I can show it off on the minimap. Like you can see like there is this dark patch, which is perfectly flat. Then you have this slope patch, which is hard to deal with. So don't go messing around with this patch if you can avoid it. On to 24. 24, you want to do like the exact same shots, like aim right about here. But instead of doing middle, like mid backspin, you just want to go full backspin. So you can see this lands you very well. Middle backspin
Nice on.
lands you farther back, which is perfectly fine. But I believe this is easier and it's also a bit faster.
Great birdie.
So if you want to shave off those frames, that's like you would want to use backspin, full backspin. I'll show off middle pit in this case too. That's I cannot seem to remember. Left pin is the exact same shot. Um, like here you need to aim like not as far right or not as far left, and you still want to do a full backspin shot. Something like that. You can see the bounces are a bit devious. You'll land on the slow part, which I said is harder. But since you're in the middle, like the mid pin, like this putt is doable because you're not very far away. If you land like 30 feet back, it's definitely better to just go to the left side. But if you're gonna land 15 feet or 10 feet, the middle path, where their slopes are, is much better. So yeah, 26. This is just exact same. You wanna aim like right about here in the rough. Full backspin. Since I overaimed to the left, but well,
Nice
from
on.
experience I can tell you, it's much nicer to overaim to the left than to overaim to the right. I'll show you what happens if you like aim to the right if you don't aim enough left. Like say you aim right about here. Like this shot still works, but you'll like the slopes will push the ball further to the right. And this may just be me, but I don't think
On
it
the
is.
green.
These putts are just much harder, and this part of the slope is less predictable. So, like, look at that putt. It's non-trivial putt for sure.
Good
So just
birdie.
aim further left if you can. Not much else to say for 26. It's the same as the others. Oh, 28 is just the exact same story. No matter what pin you have, you want to aim like right about here, like where the ridge is. Full backspin. If you redline, it's bad. Not an insurmountable challenge, but like in this case, it worked. I say you don't want to redline. It worked out,
That's it.
but you don't want to be relying on the powers of redline if you can avoid it. So I'll show a better shot this time. What I was saying, aim right about here, the rough, the ridge, more or less. The aim, luckily, is not precise at all. What matters most is just putting the max amount of backspin.
That's it.
Like, you may say, wow, the redline shot was much better. And yeah, it was better, but like once you start going into the sloped area, it's just harder to predict what will happen. And this shot is still not too demanding. You don't need to aim too far left, just a tiny bit, and it's on an upslope. Upslope putts, always preferable in my opinion. Now, up to 30. I've been using the middle pin because I feel it's the most demanding, and the shots you need to make for the front and back pin are just the exact same. Here once again, like here, since the wind is so strong, you can try aiming a bit forward to right, and like mess with the slopes, see if you get a good bounce. Like there I got a much higher bounce than normal, and you make a nicer shot. And so I think like 30, maybe even 28 too, but definitely 30. You can definitely afford to mess with the upslope. Like instead of aiming here, you wanna aim like here more or less. So do a shot once again. That was a 3.9. Definitely not what you wanna do. Like doing a full shot. Like as you can see, like there, the deviation in power made my bounce lighter, and I ended up going further away. Which is I think very emblematic of like full 17. There are so many forces at play that
Good birdie.
slight deviations in power, slight deviations in aim will have a big difference. So that's why I usually, especially for pro class runs, why I usually prefer aiming like on the ridge, because there the aim is not too precise. The bounce is generally always the same. You end further back with 30, which is why like with 30 I recommend you can mess around with the other shot, the one that where you aim further to the right. But this is still a very global part. It looks more difficult than it is. So yeah, that is northeast. As the winds creep ever higher, like it gets it the front pin starts becoming a bit harder, and more options start opening up to you. But overall, northeast is always a direction you want to see in your pro class runs or in your classic C runs. So now onto east. East is bad wind. Just straight bad wind. I do not like East in the slightest. I think it's very bad. Um, Here you have like three main options. I would say 20. You can try doing a shot like that, like a very principled shot, full bend to the left. You don't bounce in any weird upslopes, but you'll end up very far back. This shot works for any of the pin positions. Middle pin being the hardest,
Great birdie.
but fronts and back are non-trivial putts either. Like, I'll change my pin to the front. If you get front pin, there is a strategy you can try to do. I don't necessarily recommend it, but just know that it is possible. You can aim like a bit to the left, like do a very similar kind of shot. There I overshot a bit. You can see what happens if you overshoot. Not good. If you get the middle pin, you're pretty much screwed. It's good that we got the front pin, but even front pin is not pretty good. So I'll try showing the strat again. It's a ridge strat, so it's not the most consistent thing in the world. You're just kind of trying to hit the ridge. There I definitely aimed a bit too far to the left and didn't shoot powerfully enough, but aim a bit to the left and do the exact same shot as we did before. Or I guess I'm just showing off how not to do the strategy. I'm failing in every conceivable way. But this is a very dumb strat. I want to like lay it down, but I don't necessarily recommend it because if you miss, that can happen. Like you'll just go out of bounds. Yeah, just aim a bit to the left. 3.8, I think that's perfect. Like you'll hit the ridge, and you land right about there. This spot is still not easy, very dependent on where exactly you end up. You may find that this is an easier putt than like overshooting and landing 17 yards away. But yeah, not good. Not a good strat in my opinion. Finally, you have the upslope strat where you like aim a bit to the right. But you do a noticeable shot, the right failed. But as you can see, I guess I can try use the pointer if it appears. Like there are three slopes here. Like here the hill kind of stops. This is where you usually land. Here there are three big upslopes, and you can use them to your advantage under certain conditions. Generally, you'll want to avoid those upslopes, but east is very strong, so sometimes you'll want to use them. There I did not necessarily bounce on the upslope, but it was still a very good shot, so you can,
Nice
if
on.
you're feeling up to it, you can also aim a bit to the right. Will work. You can make the shot, obviously. I wasn't paying enough attention. But yeah, aim a bit to the right. I think that should work. You bounce exactly. You need to bounce with 30 east, with 20 east, but pretty much with any east. You need to bounce on the fairway slope. If you bounce on the rough slope, it's not gonna be good for you. If you do that, you end up around
On
here.
the green.
That is very good for middle pin. Like you're gonna have to take my word for it. But like you can probably use that. For front pin, it's also good. For back pin, it's just not as good because you need to like aim around here. Like around here is where the back pin is. You get an ugly slope, but here you can just do like a shot like this, and it'll be fine. And yeah,
Good birdie.
that's it. Those are the strategies for 20 East. They are the exact same for 22 East. So I'm just gonna show them again. Like, it seems that aiming a bit right helps. Like, you can aim a bit right to like 3.9, something like that. Like, that is the general result. You'll generally end up shooting a 3.9. That is the safer strat in brackets. This is a 21 yard putt. It is doable. I have done it before. It's hard though. You don't need to aim. Like, if from that position, it's perfectly straight. So you're fine. But yeah, that is like the normal strat. You can also do the harder strat, where you do like a shot like that. You bounce on the fairway triangle, the fairway upslope, and you'll end up right about here.
Nice on.
So yeah, like this is not good. Like this is good. I meant to say. If you're at back pin, it's not good. So I would say if you have the back pin, do the normal strat, like the 3.9. If you get the middle or the front pin, try going for a 3.8. You may fail, and that would be a shame. It's not good failing good strat. I can
Great
just
birdie.
show off like exactly what I mean. If you get the back pin like this, like aim a bit to the right, and just try going for a 3.9. That was a bit strong, so you can see my bounces were not favorable. From this position, this is a more than double putt, I would say. I believe something like that should work. I may have overshot, yeah. But
Nice
you
approach.
can aim a bit to the left. Like that, I definitely over aim to the left there. Like one or two ticks will be more than good enough. And that shot should make it in. Yeah. So if you
Great
get the back
birdie.
pin, just do that. Um, if you get the middle pin or the front pin, that's I tried going for strats, but that's not good. Not enough power. That's a restart. So that's the normal strats, the 3.9. Like these powers are just beginning to be so precise that it's hard to do anything with any real consistency. Yeah, there we go. Like that is good, or they're just barely not super good. I still bounced on a nice slope though, so I had a good shot.
That's it.
So yeah, those are the strats. There is like a very precise
Great
slope.
birdie.
Like there are three slopes you can bounce on, or east. Like the normal slope, the steep slope, and there is like one right in the middle, which is very hard to hit. Um, you'll generally go for either option one or option three, but sometimes you'll accidentally hit option two and you'll be happy. 24 east, I'll start going more quickly because it's just the exact same. Like starting from 24, you pretty much don't really want to aim it much. You can aim a bit right if you want, but it's like not strictly necessary. That's the normal strat. Um, if you get the middle pin with normal strats, then you can make this putt, but you can also replay while doing it. So be careful.
Nice approach.
Now onto the upslope strat. I believe that is good. Oh, I bounced on the rough. Uh, I don't recommend bouncing on the rough because that's what happened. Like from here, doing that putt is hard, not really doable, not a doable maneuver. So you still want to aim a bit to the left or a bit to the right before you bend left. That's too little power, so you didn't bounce like correctly. It's the same effect as dancing in the rough. I'll aim a bit to right. That's too much power. Again, I probably like this will be my last attempt. It's right. I believe that is okay. That is like a middle slope kind of shot, which is still good.
On the green.
I missed. Like that, it's a hard putt. So yeah, that is 24 is exact same as 22. 26 is also the exact same as 22. Aim just very small amounts to the right. Try doing like a banded shot like that. Um, your target power is between 3.8 and 3.9. If you do like a 3.9 like that, you'll do like normal strats. You just end up very far away. With the back pin, you're good. With the left pin, you're also good. But with the middle pin, or well, I meant to say the front pin, back and front, that's good. Middle, it's harder. It's still possible, but it's you'll more likely than not replay. So not ideal for sure. Um, I think that is good. Yeah, bounce on the fairway. As you can see, that strat just works very nice with the middle pin.
That's it.
So yeah, that's 26.
Good birdie.
Now to 28. 28 you don't want to aim at all, no matter what. Um, there are still the two main strategies. That's not one of them. That's called undershooting and you want to avoid it. Um, that's the, I guess, the most usual outcome, at least for me. But you're all very far away. Um, you can see in the relative um, wind that like you have a forward facing vector, like a north facing vector, so the stronger the wind, the more appreciable that'll be. So you'll definitely want to do like the uh, fairway patch strategy. You'll get a bounce like that. You can see like, wow, that was a very big bounce.
On the green.
And this is like a good shot for any of the three pins. So starting from 28, I would definitely
Birdie.
recommend going for the harder but better strategy of the big fairway ups. Now to 30. With 30, you can either not aim at all or aim like very tiny amounts to the left and do the exact same strat. Well, look at that. With a 20 east, that shot would have definitely bounced on the fairway patch. But this time it bounced on like the
On the
in-between
green.
slope, which is still a pretty good outcome, I'm going to be honest. Um, you can make the spots if you're better than me, that is. Still a big upslope, needs to be careful. And like one tick to the left or so. I believe that is okay, or not, since I didn't bounce correctly. Oh, I believe that should be good. Yeah, like you can aim one tick to the left. Like the first time I made a shot, it didn't work, but the second time it would have worked. So I think it's
Nice
dependent
on.
on your power. So yeah, it's very precise. 30 east, hard. It's a shame I didn't make that cross. So that is east. Definitely one of the hardest wins. You need to make somewhere
Great
between
par.
a 3.9 and a 3.7, depending on your speed and what you're going for. Not the wind you want to see. Getting a birdie is just very difficult. One of the hardest wins for sure. Now, on to Southeast. Southeast, contrary to East, is just one of the nicest winds you can get. You always use a 3 wood. I'm gonna restart. Uh, you can. I'm gonna show the speedrun strategy that you use like Classic Seed because it's also very powerful for pro class. If you see Southeast, no matter the power, or I guess no matter the wind speed, you can do this. Full band left, full shot. It always nights you squarely on the green. Like
Nice
specifically
on.
with 20 east, southeast, it's a bit harder. This spot seems hard, but in reality you need to just birdie aim to right, and it'll make it in. Much easier than it looks.
Great birdie.
That's a nice piece of theory right there. With the middle pin specifically, you can instead try to aim like to the left. I believe somewhere around here should be good. And just make a full shot. It's very dependent on bounces though. That there I got a very high bounce, so the shot ended quickly. I'm gonna aim a bit further to the left than that to show like low bounce. Maybe somewhere around here. It definitely feels like I'm over aiming to the left, but I just want to show like the different bounce conditions. That was low bounce, so the ball rolled
Nice
more.
on.
I know that there is an outflow there, but I think it was still viewable that you roll more when the ball bounces less. Because when the ball bounces less, it's the effect of the south wind is less pronounced. So that's why it happens. If the ball bounces high, the wind will affect it more directly. And if the ball bounces high, it also means it hit a slope that is very steep. And steep slopes also reduce the wall speed more. So that's why this works. I'm going to show a very strange fact about this strat. Um, the full bend strat. Not like that. Uh, if you do like full bend, come on. If you do full bend and don't do like any sort of nothing fancy, like you just do the normal thing, you'll end like right here. There's some variance again because full bend shots are inherently inconsistent, but they're close enough most of the time. Um, but if you do the full bend and like you keep on doing forward swing, I don't know why it works. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea why this works, but it seems to be consistent. If you keep on doing a forward swing after you make a bend shot, in hole 17, the ball just goes farther. Don't don't ask me why it works. It just works. Um, I tested with every wind condition. I do it in pro plus runs. It's that consistent. So yeah, I think the absolute optimal thing you can do for 20 in specific, aim a bit to the right, full bend, keep on doing a swing, a force swing. The ball will travel very far and very nice.
That's it.
And you'll get a very nice shot no matter what pin you get. Middle pin, I'm using it because it's generally the hardest. And also, if something works for middle pin, 9 times out of 10, it'll work for middle and back pin, or front and back pin. What works for middle works for everything. Yeah, that's 20 southeast. Now on to 22. 22 is the exact same. My recommendation is same tiny bit to the right, and just full bend, and keep on doing force swing afterwards. The ball will be very nice. It'll land like right in the middle.
Nice.
Very nice. Just very relatively for middle pin specifically, it's not super easy. It's non-trivial. For back pin, it's a very doable putt, and for front pin, it's just no contest. Let's see front pin. I'm going to show again. I think it should be a placebo, but I don't know. It works. Like this is the shots you make with no
That's it.
forcing, and this is the shot you make with forcing. They were similar, but they were not quite the same. Probably what's going on is like not placebo, but like you bend a tiny bit less if you do forcing. I don't know exactly how that would work, but it just works like that. So yeah, that's 22 surface. Take a bit to the right, full swing, do forward swing, if you like. 24. 24, you just don't want to aim at all. Just do the shot as you would. Full bend to the left. Just very nice landing. Extremely nice landing. Starting from like 24, don't miss the putt like I did, please. With the middle pin specific, the strat of aiming to the left and just aiming to the left and not doing bends becomes more relevant. It gives the ball
On the green.
more distance and it pushes it further right. So specifically for middle pin, that may be the strategy you want to go for. And remember though, it's not too consistent. Small deviations in aiming will change the results drastically. But generally, it's preferable to aim too far to the left than aiming too far to the right. This is what happens if you aim too far to the right. The ball stops quickly,
On the green.
and you're in the slope, so you get a hard cut. Still doable? Uh, not ideal.
Birdie.
The bottom line is that it's not ideal. That is 24. Now on to 26. Same thing. Full bend. Do forcing if you'd like. I recommend it. Seems to work good for me. And you'll end up here, which is just very nice for every pin position. Middle pin, it starts to become a bit harder. Still doable. Or not. It is doable, but you just need to aim a bit far to the right. I'm gonna try again. I will show off once again the strategy of aiming to the left and doing a full shot instead. That is just an easier shot for the middle pin.
Nice on.
So yeah, that's 26 of it.
Great birdie.
Now on to 28. I'm going to start showing the back pin once again, because here is when it starts to get a bit trickier. Here you don't wanna aim again. I guess you can aim like a bit to the left if you'd like. You just do that. There I did a 3.99. It's a bit hard to see, but I don't know if the compression is too much, but I can see that it was a 3.99, so I ended up a bit short. With the back pin, this is a doable putt. It's just hard because you have the slope still affects you in small but appreciable ways. So you just need to make the shot. You don't need to make it as powerful as I did. I think
Nice
three
approach.
3 is probably not enough. 3.5, 3.2, that's good. You will need to aim far to right. The stronger the shot you make, the less right you need to aim. Like that is just a general rule of thumb for golf. More power equals less effect by the slopes. I'm going to try again. The same strat. Like you just see, oh wow, southeast. I'm gonna do a full bend. I'm not gonna redline because redlining is bad. I'm going to restart. I'm going to do it once again. Yeah, there we go. That is like the difference between a full shot and a 3.99.
That's it.
Very small. Most holes you won't realize. But it's like it happens. 3.99s and 4.0 holes. Very hard to distinguish. But yeah, like this is a putt that you need to know how to make. It's a very tricky one. I cannot do it consistently. So you're just going to want to hope you get the middle pin or the front pin. Now 30 southeast. With back pin, like even under these conditions, max possible wind, I just do not recommend trying to use the driver. If you bounce in the fairway upslope, it's not good. If you aim too hard, or not aim, if you shoot too hard, you may prefer doing that shot, but it's not a strict advantage. I think this shot is a bit easier, but it's not a trivial shot.
Nice.
If you like do power right in the middle, it's still not super good. You can make a better shot than this, but the bottom line is driver doesn't work. Don't even try. So whatever our strategy. With backpin, like you just do the normal strat. 3 wood. That was a 3.99, so it's gonna end up a bit short, I think. Or that is fine. That is a fine shot.
That's it.
If you're scared of this slope over here, you see, get backpin. In this case in specific, I would recommend like aiming a bit to the left, something like that. Still not an ideal situation by any means, because you're wrestling with the slope, but you can end up over
Ball
here,
green.
which is much easier, in my opinion. It's a farther putt, but it's also an easier putt. So you can
Good
aim it
birdie.
to the left. Front pin, very easy. Don't even aim. Just do this shot, full bend, and you'll land very nicely on the fairway, or not on the
Ball
fairway, on the
green.
green. And this is a nice little shot. Finally, if you get the middle pin, or yeah, I forgot to change it. If you get the middle pin, actually, this time I do strongly recommend like you try doing this kind of shot. Like aim and don't mess around with the. Well, that's like an ideal shot. Just do the full shot, full
Ball
power,
green.
and don't try to bend it. So yeah, that is Southeast.
Good birdie.
There is some theory that you'll need to learn. I laid it all out for you. Very nice wind, but if you don't know what to do, it can be tricky. Now on to south. South is a nice wind, but you also need to be very good with partial powers. There is a huge range of powers you can make. Like with 20, you can just make a full shot. You can even try to get away with like a 3.5. Um, like this is the lowest you can get away with, I would say. That is like the exact border. So you can make a shot like that, and it'll work wonders. Uh, you'll generally
Straight
not
up.
shoot like right in the middle or like the exact limit of where you can do it. Something like that is generally what you're going to get. South is very dependent on bounces, but you'll generally land on the green and you'll be happy. I don't know why I aimed left there.
Nice
Just
approach.
don't aim left with that shot. Do no way. That is 20 south. I can show middle pin, but middle pin is just the exact same. Default aim is generally good. If you want, you can aim a bit to the right, but um, if you aim a bit to the right, you can make a better shot, but you also maybe not with 20 south, but stronger winds, you run the risk
That's it.
of getting a replay. Not ideal. So that is 20 south.
Good birdie.
22 south, exact same. You can be defaulting for the front pin as you saw. I like aim right in the middle. That maximizes the quality of your shot, but it also maximizes the chance that you're going to get a replay. So you'll just like need to weigh the pros and cons by yourself.
That's it.
So yeah, you just like do a 3.7, you end up right about here, and you make this putt and you're happy. The exact same
Good
strat
birdie.
for the other three pins. 24 south, I can maybe switch like to back pin for a little bit. 24 south is again the same strat. For 24, like for any south really, if you get the middle pin or the back pin, like the default aim is perfectly fine. It's like just pretty much ideal position. If you're not careful, you can replay like here.
Great
So if you're
approach.
scared of replaying, because like that's a genuine concern you need to take into account, you can aim like a bit to the left. It reduces the overall quality of your shots, but it also reduces the likelihood that you'll replay. There you saw that I
Nice
made like a
approach.
much higher power shot than I anticipated, but even then it was very good. That was because of the bounce. I don't know if you saw, but there was a very high bounce, and the combination of the upslope and the wind made it so that the ball stopped very quickly. So that was a good shot. I was saying. That
Great
is
birdie.
24 south, now on to 26. 26 is pretty much the same. Anything between 3.8 and 4 will work very well. Um, like there I got a very nice bounce. Obviously if you get front
That's it.
or middle, you'll want your shot to be closer to the side of 3.8 than 4. But if you get
Great
back,
birdie.
like that shot I made was perfectly fine. So that is 26 south. Now on to 28. I know I'm going a bit fast, but there's really not much to comment on. Like the aims is very lenient. Like anywhere in this area, general area, will be fine. You can aim, I don't know, right here, and there is a big range of powers that work. Like that shot, perfectly fine. You can shoot a bit lower, you can shoot a bit higher, and it will work just the same.
Nice approach.
You land, and you make this and you're happy. So
Great birdie.
that is 28 south. With 30 south, it's very strong, but again, the exact same strategies apply. You can aim a bit to the right, like don't aim too far to the right. If you're aiming like here, like you can make that shot, but I personally wouldn't recommend it because you aim too far to the right and you aim on the right side of the green.
Nice on.
Um, so you can still make that putt, but definitely not recommended.
Great birdie.
With this thing with middle pin is with every speed, by the way. Like if you're past this line, you're already too far. Like I recommend like keeping your distance to the hole a bit to the left. Like anywhere between this general area would work fine. Like maybe right around there. Anywhere between 3.8 and 4 will work very nicely. Like that was a very good shot. Uh,
Nice
and this
approach.
is level 1. Like this wind is just good with anything really. That
Great
was
birdie.
south. Not a lot to explain after the densely packed southeast. This is, in my opinion, the one of the nicest wind powers. If you get good enough at the game, the bigger risk is that it's actually replayed. Uh, like this is just very nice power. There is a huge range of strategies that work. You can find the one that works best for you. But if you see any south, that's like a win for sure. Now onto southwest. Southwest is much maligned by the community. I don't think it's that bad to be honest. In every single case, you want to aim like I'm gonna put default aim again. In every single case, you want to club up, aim a bit to the left, just a tiny bit, and just try doing like a shot like that. That was like right in the border of what is acceptable. I didn't aim enough left. The power was good, but I didn't aim enough left. Um, this is a very hard putt. You can make it. Like I think the straight won't work, but I cannot really tell you for sure.
Nice
It's
approach.
very position dependent. This side of this way. I think something like that should work. Yeah. I'm going to try to do a
Great
better
birdie.
demonstration. With the stronger winds, like you won't need to aim very far to left. But with this one, since it's 20, it's very mild. So you want to do something like that. There I made like a not powerful enough shot. It bounced on the rough upslope, which is not good. You can make this putt, but I cannot say I personally ever made it. It's very, very difficult. And probably impossible to do without replay. I do something like this. That's again a bit too light. You want to be careful of the ridge as well. 20 southwest is a hard win. Come on. I could simply undershooting. I hit the rough once again. It was still good, but I made it into the edge of green, but that's not necessarily what you want to see. There we go. It's better to overshoot slightly than to undershoot slightly. Because if you undershoot, you run the risk of just going out of bounds. If you overshoot, you just
Nice on.
maybe will end up in the bunker. But it's much better fate. Big upslope, so you need to put big powers. It's not too difficult.
Great birdie.
We've gone over this exact kind of green shot many times before. So that is 20 southwest. There's only one real strategy that works for all 3 pins. And you're going to see this trend continue. You're going to change pins periodically. So here you just want to aim a bit to the right, left. You do a full bend shot to the right, like partial power, 3.9, 3.8 works. So anywhere between 3.9 and 3.8 is good. I've found
That's it.
to do that. I think that's a bit strong, just barely. That's a shame. But yeah, that is like the first shot was good. That's the point. Like the main strategy I want to show is for the first shot. I've shown off some theory for the second shot, but like putts are much more situational. I've found that is the absolute limit of how low the power can be with this specific wind. And you get this putt, which is once again doable. So that is 22 southwest.
Good birdie.
24 southwest is the exact same as the other ones. You want to aim to the left, like right here. This is the exact same no matter the wind pin, the pin. If you get the middle pin, you may want to aim a bit farther right. You get the front pin a bit farther left, but like right around here is always good. Full shot, you need to do more power than what I did right there. Well, like that's what happens if you do too little power. You may be saved by the fact that you can hit the one of the clips, but I wouldn't count on it personally. I would just, it's much better to overshoot than undershoot. Especially as the winds creep ever higher, the south components will become more pronounced. And that's beneficial for us. Because if you overshoot, the wind will stop the ball. You'll not like roll forever like with 20. In 24, like it already starts winding down. So you can make that shot, and it's very doable.
Great.
That is 24. I'm going to do one more demonstration. Aim to the left, full band to the right, partial shots, 3.8, 3.9, 3.7. That is the general range you want to be at. And it works. And it's the same strat for every single pin. .26 southwest. Exact same. I'm actually gonna change my pin. Because we've been using a front pin for quite a bit. So it's exact same when I aim a bit to the left. Full bend to the right, partial shot, that is too low. Be careful. If you are scared of shooting too low, you can obviously aim far to the left. If you make that low shot, you will not die instantly, but you'll end up about here, which is also not ideal. This spot is like not really doable under most circumstances. I think like with the specific slope combination that I got, it is possible to do. but most cases it just won't be
Great
doable. In an
approach.
RTA, you definitely won't hit it. You can try doing a power chip, but it's not recommended to go for that. So I personally would take the risk of not aiming too far to the left and trying to hit a more powerful shot like that. Again, it's always preferable to overhit than underhit in hole 17. End up right about
Nice
here,
on.
which is a good place to be at, no matter the pin. So that is 26.
Great birdie.
28 is once again the exact same. I'm going to change pins once more. Um, that is front pin. Like, it's 28. As the winds get higher, it gets much better to get west. So yeah, you make it in.
Good
I'm
birdie.
going to show pin type number 3, which is also known as the middle pin. Here you need to aim even less to the left. Do a shot like that. I think it's gonna hit the cliff. It's just barely not enough. As the winds get higher, it gets more and more important to approach the 3.9 territory. That's just not gonna make it. So you need to be careful. Like, you can try making a full shot, something like that, but you'll end up very far away. So I personally would not recommend it. Maybe if you get back pin, you can try doing that shot, but with middle pin and front pin, certainly not. I would not personally recommend it. That was very close. Because you also run the risk of replaying the putt, which is not what you want to see. So yeah, just aim a bit to the left. That's again too light. I wanna, or not. It was good. This time it was good. Oh, like that was just barely though. I thought it would not go in, but it did.
That's it.
And as you can see, it landed us very nicely here.
Good birdie.
That is 28 southwest. Now on to 30. Um, not a lot to say again. Uh, my controller just decalibrated there. Be careful about that. That I cannot make any tutorials about decalibration. Um, just do like a 3.8 or 3.9. Aim a bit to the left. You'll end up in the left side of the green, which as we went over is good.
On the green.
If you end up like in this loop, you need to be careful. I think just bending a bit, not bending, aiming a bit right is good. I can try again because I'm in practice mode. Just a bit. If I not massively overshoot. Yeah, it was a fine aim. I don't know if you can get away with knowing. You probably can with a very specific power, but not entirely recommendable. So yeah, not an easy putt by any means, but it's doable with setting for 3 pins. So that is southwest. Not the wind you want to see, to be honest, but it is doable. Your technique needs to be spot on though. There is not a huge range of power that work. There is a huge range of aims that work, but the power is generally very precise. Want to rest. West has a very easy strategy that we'll use for every single pin, which is just bending to right. 20 west, just absolutely no aim, hit it to the right, or bend it to the right, I mean. And you'll end up here, which is a friendly position no matter
That's
what.
it.
I believe this is just like straight. Or not. So I guess it wasn't as friendly as I thought. You're gonna miss, but like if you do Golf Pro, you need to know that you will not be perfect. It's very hard. No matter how good your first shot is, you can make silly mistakes like that. With 20, you need to be careful because even aiming, like, that wasn't a full band, so the effect won't be shown too strongly. But if you aim even a bit to the right, I'm going to make it more exaggerated, but if you aim like even a bit to the right, and do like a full band, you'll actually bounce in the fairway, and you'll get this kind of bounce. So be careful. With full west, 20 west, I recommend just not messing around with things. Just do a full bend like that. You'll bounce on the shiny rough. You'll end up right about here, which is a very nice position in my opinion.
That's it.
I definitely wouldn't complain with that first shot. You can make that putt. We learn from our mistakes and we make that putt.
Great birdie.
22 west. I'm actually gonna just randomize the pins. Um, with 22 west, you wanna like do very small amounts of aiming to the right and just hit it. And it lands on pretty much the exact same position. This position is just good. You can hit it. Boom. Goes in. That is 22 west.
Great birdie.
24 west. The exact same story. You may want to aim like a bit farther to the right than before. So you just hit it. As you can see, like, the west gets more pronounced. The ball, like, at the end it pretty much rolls straight to the left. So you can end up closer to the hole. It may be a bit disadvantageous if you get the back pin. Like this. Like, let me show you. Here I aimed maybe a bit too far to the right, or maybe not. No, that was good. Like, you need to modulate how much right you aim. The farther right you aim, the farther back on the green you'll end up. That's the general rule of thumb. So you want to see what kind of pin you get. With 26 west, it's just exact same. Aim a bit to the right. If you get the front pin, you want to aim like not so much to the right, like a bit, not an excessive amount. Oh wow, maybe you can get a hole in one with this move, but we're not interested in hole in ones. Fun perk about practice mod, you can just end replays earlier. So yeah, you don't want to do like partial shots. Like, you can do them. There's just no real point. Like a full shot will work just as well. Something like that. It'll work like pretty much exactly the same. You may end up a bit farther back, but you don't run the risk of ever falling into the water. And this is like a roll putt. So yeah, you can make it if you're better than me. I am in the slope, slope from the back of me, by the tiniest amounts. So that's something you always need to keep an eye out for. So that is 26 left. Let's see what happens if you just don't aim at all and do a full shot like I wanted. Let's see what kind of shot do we get. Yeah, you just end up very far to the left. So, like, just remember, the farther right you aim, the farther back on the green you end up. That is also a rule that applies for 28 west. You actually want to aim like quite a bit to the right. Something like that I think will work wonders. I'm sorry if I'm not being super precise. These aims are just not an exact science. Aiming a bit to the right will work. Do something like that. I'm actually gonna hard code back pin.
Good birdie.
I believe that is back pin. No, that is front pin. Back pin is this. If the back pin is powerful enough, or if the power is strong enough, like 28, you actually can aim like there's a strategy you can do where you aim like very far right. You can get away with doing a shot like that. They're aimed a bit too far
That's it.
to the right, I would say. You can do that. You can still make it. But with 28 west, you can aim very far to the right. You can bounce and the fairway and be good. I'll be back.
Nice on.
Alright, I'm back. So yeah, that was 28 west. 30 west, the exact same story. With the back pin, you can aim like quite a bit to the right, and just straight up hit the fairway patch, which I said you should avoid before. But here it is so powerful, you can do something like that. Maybe even get a hole in one. I don't know.
Great approach.
If you get the back pin, you do want to hit the that patch.
Good birdie.
If you get the middle or front pin, it's still preferable. Like you still need to aim to the right, but it's still preferable to hit the rough. Like, especially front pin, like, you end up in a very nice position.
On the green.
So that is west.
Good birdie.
Very friendly wind. Maybe the strategy is not intuitive for some people, but it just works very nicely. So I'm very happy whenever I see Northwest or West. I'm not very happy when I see Northwest though, as we'll see. This is north, west. This is a wind I have no good strategies for. If you try using the 3-iron, no backspin, you'll get a shot that is a bit like this. Depending on who you are, you may like that shot, but I personally do not like that shot at all. It's a very unpredictable putt. So what I generally do is aim a bit to the left. Try doing like a 3.5. Oh wow, I didn't aim enough left. Oh. Definitely don't try to hit the cliff. The cliff is bad. Like aim farther to the left. And try doing like a 3.5. This time I messed up the power. So like when I'm like right over here. That is a bit strong. You end up very far, like length in the rough. Yeah, not good. That's very not good. That's still a bit strong. You want to bounce on the rough. Like this shot is a bit better, but it's still too strong. That's another strategy I want to show. Yeah, that's good. You bounce on the rough like that. It'll stop the ball a bit. Not too much though. There's still a fundamentally bad wind. and you can make that putt, but it's not easy.
Great birdie.
If you get any of the other pins, to be honest, good luck. I'm gonna put like pin 3 for example. I have no real good answers against the other pins. You can try doing the same kind of shot, something like this. You may see like, you may do like an exceptionally good shot and be fine. But it's not always the case that you make an exceptionally good shot. They are exceptional for a reason. I think that's good. Yeah, you can make it, but it's very hard.
Great
So that
birdie.
is 20 northwest. And the strategies are not gonna change too much for the other pins. Or not the other pins. The other winds, the speeds. 22, again, aim a bit to the left. Try doing like a 3.5 or so. There you hit the cliff. That particular cliff, it's actually not too bad if you get the middle pin. But I would never go as far as to call it a strategy. It's not like the 20 east where you can sort of like control. You cannot control that flip. It's something like this. Bounce on the rough. You'll end up like to the left. You can make this shot, but it's tricky.
That's it.
Oh, it's very tricky. I couldn't even do it. I thought that's slow, but apparently not. Apparently it's just like a straight shot. So there's a good piece of theory I didn't have, but now you have. So that is 22 northwest. 24, exact same thing. As the wind get higher, you can get away with pin less to the left. So the power's requirements get a bit lower. I keep saying like stuff like you can get away with pin less, which is true, but then I hit the cliff. You obviously don't want to hit the cliff. Please don't get the wrong impression. So like as the winds get ever higher, the power requirement get ever lower. Like that was a 3.5 and it's worked. Just rather strange. You can make this putt, you need to make it stronger, like a 3 would work. Something that should be very good. Yeah.
Good
22
birdie.
northwest, or 24 northwest. Not very different from anything else we've seen from the northwest category. 26 northwest, also nothing to write home about. Aim a bit to the left. That's a bit strong. You should aim for 3.5s, 3.4s at this point. That's still a bit strong. Something like this. That's too light. Or hit the cliff once again. For some, like, cliff interactions are predictable, but there are like 5 different cliffs you can hit, and many different angles. This time it worked, but most times it will not work in the cliff. Aim to the left. Come on. This is like the worst wind. Northwest, very bad. Like once northwest like gets too strong, the strategies start to break out. They stop working. I believe that should be a good enough shot. Yeah, you hit the rough. It becomes so powerful the wind that you'll end up on the fairway. I believe this is like a doable putt, but very hard to do without replaying. That's 26 northwest. No real good solutions that I've been able to find. 28 northwest. Like this is what happens if you do iron once again. You would think the stronger northwest would be beneficial, and it is, but the part that gets stronger is the west part, not necessarily the north part. Like if you get the front pin, it is a shot you can try to make using the iron. It's probably easier. I would say it's good. Um, maybe I mean even further to the right is good. That's just it still doesn't work quite as well as you would like. Like that's the thing I would say. Like these spots are never easy. Landing on that
Great
fairway patch
approach.
is never easy. You can still try to make the usual strategy. It still works, but as the winds creep higher, it gets harder and harder to do. So you can really like pick your poison. There are no
That's
really good
it.
strategies in my opinion. Yeah, you can make it, but
Great
it's very hard.
birdie.
30 Northwest is the exact same, but even more pronounced. You can still do the 3 iron strat. If you red line, you're gonna have a bad time because you got something like that. Which is, to be honest, is like not the worst in the world if you get front pin. But if you get back pin, you're dead. And if you get middle pin, you're dead too. So don't red line. We can try again. Um, Something like this. This is actually like not bad at all.
That's it.
You can try aiming a bit to the right in the initial shot. That should help. Let's see. Something like this. So yeah, it seems to me that with 30 Northwest,
Nice on.
it's like the only power wind where the iron strats kind of works.
Great.
The Rewa strat works too, but it's as consistent as it's ever been, so not very consistent at all. You'll still get this same kind of shots if you perform it perfectly. And the shots are just not very friendly. You can make the spots, but yeah, not super
Nice
good
approach.
position to be at. I believe there is like a very janky strategy you can use. You can try to not hit the cliffs, obviously. You can try using a driver and hit the super steep slopes. That is too strong for what I wanted to show, but it's still even if you hit like a perfect 3 dot driver, I believe it's still not ideal. Yeah, as you can see, it's like not predictable at all. So yeah, that is third Northwest. Definitely use the iron. To recap Northwest, from 20 to 26, you want to do the 3 wood strat. 28, you can pick either the iron or the 3 wood. And in 30, you should use the iron for sure. Northwest is the worst win by far. There's just no real answer to getting Northwest. You need to do 2 extremely good shots to even get a shot at a birdie. So if anyone finds a better solution for Northwest, I would definitely appreciate it. Um, so yeah, that's it. I may not have been of much use for Northwest in specific, but I hope the other wind directions were more helpful for you. And if you have any questions, just let me know in the comments or in the Weestories Discord, where I will be answering questions as always. So I hope you found this useful.